Okay, this video is to get us going on the COVID-19 stats Excel assignment. This is our first Excel assignment. And so first we're just going to click this link, which brings us to the CDC website, which is the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention website. And this particular page of their website shows us the COVID-19 deaths by sex and by age as of September 4th, I believe. It's updated September 8th, but the date's in there. September 4th, so we're going to click on Export and Export for Excel. And so it should download right here. I'm going to go ahead and double click on it. If double clicking doesn't work for you, then you can open up your folder and you'll find it in your Downloads folder up here. Alright, let's see here. Mine should have opened by now. Okay, so it's a lot of data. So first of all, I'm going to hold down my control key and then hit the page down, the end key, because I want to show you how many rows there are. 66,097 rows down at the bottom. So it's a huge database. Lots of data. I'm going to hit Control on my keyboard and hit the Home key, and it brings me back up to the top. So, first thing I'm going to do is I want to clean things up and narrow it down. So, first I want to notice when I scroll down, I lose the headers. So I'm going to click on this header row and go up here to the View and click on Freeze Panes. And I want to freeze the top row. I guess I didn't need to highlight that because that was an option to just freeze the top row. Now what happens? If I scroll down, you'll notice, at least now I have the identifier for each row with me. You get to see it. Alright, next thing I want to do, year and month. These are just wasted columns because we have the dates. We have, oh, by the way, if the column is too narrow, all you have to do is get a double-headed arrow between whichever column you wanted to auto-fit, and then just double-click. And then it automatically widens to the largest row in that column. So let's just make sure these, now I can do more than one. I could highlight a bunch of these and hit double click and then it adjusts all of them. Now I don't need year and month. I just mentioned, so I'm going to do a right mouse click. How did I highlight these again? I had to make sure I had a down facing arrow on the column that I want to select. I click and I held and I dragged over. Now I highlighted two columns. Now in that column somewhere I do a right mouse click, select delete. Let's go ahead and do that. And before I start editing anymore, I'm going to go ahead and save it. File, save as. Now, if you have your OneDrive, connected, I guess I should have you guys do it this way. Click on this PC, double click, and then see if it shows your OneDrive with Colorado Springs School District 11. And save it in there if you're synchronized. If you're not synchronized, or you can't because some students are having trouble getting theirs synchronized, and then I've been telling those students to go to the Documents folder and just save it there. And then you can name it the same. Let's see here, I guess you could just call it COVID data 9/9/21. And if you're in period 6 or 7, it'll be 9/10, because then you'll be seeing this on Friday. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in there for me. You guys, like I said though, if you have your Colorado Springs District 11 OneDrive account synchronized, go ahead and save it in there. Alright, oh, I forgot to save it a certain way, sorry. Save as, so I'm going to do that again. Put it back in my documents. This time, I'm changing this save type as Excel workbook. That way it's formatted as an Excel workbook rather than as a database. I mean, it's still a database, but the formatting, other features that we're going to use in Excel will work properly and you might lose some of the capabilities if we saved it as the CVS or the other style Unicode. All right, so what is this data showing us? As of 9/8, so that's when they must have published this data, on the 8th. But the start date and the end date, here's what we care about. So I'm going to delete this row, make some more room. There we go. So start date was January 1, 2020, and then the end date 9/4/2021. So this is the entire time of COVID. And the groups are totals here. This group, if I scroll down, I can see that it's all by total, right? So whether it's going, Alabama, weather state, no matter what. So there's a column that I don't need because it's the same all the way down. I'm just going to delete that one. Now I'm going to double click up here so I can see the state that we're in. Double click here. Now I want to go ahead and highlight all of these and then double click so it expands them so I can see all of them. I'm just trying to clean this up to make it a little more user friendly. I'm bringing that back so I can see these other columns. I still can't see this last column, so I think I'm going to go ahead and bring it down, bring it back a little bit, even though it's hiding some of the header. That's okay. Alright, so go ahead and give yours a save. Get yours looking like mine. It's okay if you expand yours state so you can see it all. That's fine. I'm just bringing mine back a little bit because I want to be able to see this over here. Alright, we'll give it a save. And the first thing I want to do is just figure this table out. What are we looking at here? So both sexes, so that's all people, and then by age group, let's look at age group. So for all ages so far, the government, the CDC is reporting 643,858 deaths as of the 4th of September. Total deaths in the country for that same time period was 5.5 million people. Pneumonia deaths, 583,000 for that same time period. Pneumonia and COVID, 320,617 deaths. And normally, if I go back years back, influenza is typically, I think, between 30 and 40,000 deaths a year on average. I remember seeing a severe, I think it was 2017 or 16, one of those 2 years, or maybe it was the winter of 16-17 season, and I think it was up to like 70,000 or something close to that, and that was like a really high year. But right now it's really low, so not sure why that's true, why it's gone down so much. If maybe some of those are counted in here, I don't know. All right, so, but here's the hot topic is COVID, what's going on right now. And so I'm kind of paying attention to this column. So let's take a look at a few things here. The same time period, so since the beginning of COVID until now, we've got a total of 98 deaths. For under 1, 412 from the age group of 0 to 17, so that includes these guys, so that 98 is included. So we're looking at that. For that same group, from 0 to 17, which most of you fall into that category, there were a total of 55,000 deaths. Pneumonia, 924. So it looks like more young people from the age of 0 to 17, I should just say under 17 and under 18, died of pneumonia than died of COVID. From 1 to 4, same thing. Now again, 1 to 4 and 5 to 14, those numbers are included in this. So there's lots of duplicates here, but they just have them broken out so that people can see smaller age ranges. So let's take a look at this one. Oops, I didn't want to move it. Remember, I'm going to cancel that. Remember, if you ever get a 4-headed arrow and you try to move, it's like cutting and pasting it somewhere else. So I accidentally did that. Let's take a look at the deaths for, so 15 to 24-year-olds. I'm sorry, I want to go to the next age group. So here's 0 to 17, then 18 to 29. So I can actually, if I just want to go with this group and this group, I can actually highlight these rows, right mouse click, and I can do a hide. That way I don't delete them. If I hide it, notice it just shrinks them down. And that way I can just see all age groups together here. Let's see, I'll get rid of under 1 as well. Right mouse click, hide that row. So now it goes 1, 2, 4, 8. So we've got some rows hidden, but that's okay. We're just getting rid of the duplicates. So now I'm just looking at from 0 to 17, 18 to 29. Where's the next 29? Oh, here, from 30 to 39. So that's a duplicate right there. Right mouse click, hide. And now I can get a better look at it. Okay, in this age group, 412 people have died. This age group, 3,000 roughly, 8,600 roughly in this age group. Alright? And I'm going to keep doing this so that I'm just going from 30 to 39. Then where does it start? 40 to 49, so this is an overlap. Hide. So now I'm looking at each age group, 29, 30 to 39, 40 to 49. Oh, we don't need this one, that's an overlap. 50 to 64. So we don't need the next one right here. So I just want you guys to follow along and do exactly what I'm doing for right now. You'll get to play around and do more later, but now it stops, okay, from 64, 65, 74, 75, okay, there, now it doesn't overlap. So you can see it looks like the bulk of the deaths start right here at 50 and older. And, then the next category, they break it down by male and female, and you're free to spend some time looking at that. You can pause the video here and look around just to kind of get some idea. Okay, like, are there more deaths under males or more deaths under females? It looks like in this case 535 versus total females, all ages, is 290. So it's impacting a little bit more the males. But you can just look at the data as you want. I'm not going to make you compress all this data for the male, female, because we just did it for all sexes, and that's the United States, all data. What I want you guys to do now is do the same thing that I just did, and then you're going to answer a few questions. So you're going to do the same thing that I just did, except you're going to do it for Colorado. And I'm going to show you how to get that started. First of all, to scroll down to Colorado, we keep going to see it's by state. I'm just going to hit the page down on my keyboard, page down button, so I can go down faster. And if I just hold it down, it starts flying down. Oops, went too fast. And I'm going to go to Colorado. Ooh, gotta go back to Colorado. Now I'm doing page up to go up. All right, here we go. And I'm going to just copy the Colorado data so that I don't have to keep scrolling to find Colorado's. So I'm going to go like this. Click when I have a forward-facing arrow on row 309. Click and hold with my left mouse. Oops, I missed the first one. Sorry, 308. Click and hold. And I'm going to stay over here on the numbers, drag down. Come down a little bit. I don't want to go too far. Just want to take all of the Colorado. There we go. Let go. Right mouse click, and that data that's shaded, I'm going to copy. And then go over here. Create a new sheet. Double click on that sheet and call it Colorado. That's what I'd like you guys to do. You're following along with me. Then I'm going to right mouse click in this first cell and just paste all of the data there. Uh-oh, I need something up top. I'm going to insert. So again, what did I do to insert a new row? I did a right mouse click on this cell, or this row, or I could just click it to highlight it, and then right mouse click. And if you go to insert, it inserts. If you delete, it deletes. The reason I did that was I wanted our header row. So let's go back here. I'm going to hold down my control key, hit home. Oh, I guess it was already up there because it was frozen. So I'm going to do a right mouse click on that row, copy. Notice I did not select and try to highlight the entire row. I click with a forward-facing arrow. Same thing you can do with columns. It's more efficient and more advantageous to click on the entire row, copy. Then I'll click on this row, right mouse click, and paste. Alright, so now we got start and date. Okay, good. Now for Colorado, I wanted you guys to do the same thing that we did for all of the United States. I'm going to go ahead and do this again. Oops, I should have highlighted all of these, my fault. There we go, now it auto fits. And again, this one I think I'm going to go ahead and shrink it down just a little bit, even though it hides some of the heading. I'd like to be able to see it on my screen. Alright, go ahead and start deleting, or I should say hiding the rows that are overlaps. I want you to do from 0 to 7, keep 0 to 17, keep 18 to 29. So if you forget which ones to keep, just go back here and we're going to see the ones that we kept, which age groups. You're going to do that for Colorado. Alright, pause your video and do that. Alright, so I just hid the rows that I didn't want, and now I've got from the age of 0 to 17, there were 13 deaths in the state of Colorado. From 18 to 29, 37, and so on. And it's just some interesting data. One thing, though, that if you want to unhide these, all you have to do is highlight from the cells on either side of it. So now I've got 2 and 4 highlighted. And then I do a right mouse click, and I hit unhide. And now I can reveal that again. So under 1, there were 0 deaths. Let's see what happened under... I just want to look at the young ages here. Unhide. So it looks like from 1 to 4 there were 0 deaths, from 5 to 14. So really in the state of Colorado there were no deaths from COVID under the age of 15, so 14 and under. Good news for you guys, right? The younger you are, the healthier you are when it comes to this virus. Alright, so you can go ahead and I'm going to hit undo and I can put those back. Alright, so this is it for video number 1. And then I'll explain what to do in class after this. So save what you have.